Hey, let's go win it. Let's go do it. Let's go do it. Five. Let's do it. Let's do it.
The edge breaks a tackle, 35, 30. Damian Williams stays in bounds. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Kansas City! Damian Williams runs to immortality! Touchdown! Kansas City!
They are invincible, undeniable, and two-time Super Bowl champions. Welcome to the Indiana Chiefs Fans Podcast, where we talk about our favorite team, the Kansas City Chiefs. I am Golden Jay, and with me, a three-time podcast favorite, Chico Noise, and the newcomer to the Golden Mojo Entertainment family, Phil Jordan, who we call the Chief. Welcome, gentlemen, to episode 2 of Indiana Chiefs Fans. How'd you guys feel about episode 1?
Thought it turned out pretty good.
I watched it, like I said, twice, and I thought it was good as well. And like I mentioned earlier, a couple of my friends watched it, and another one or two Chiefs fans, and they thought it was pretty good. They said it looked like we had a lot of fun.
We did have a lot of fun. It was a good time.
Yeah, I enjoyed listening back to it, and I edited it, and I still listen back to it.
So,
I did the same thing you guys did. I listened to it on the actual stream site, and of course, then I watched the video. I didn't like focus in on the video. It was just kind of playing. I'd look over and it's like, oh, there we are. Yeah.
You'd think being a 4-time podcast host, Dad, you would be used to watching yourself on video if you would just post video.
Well, as many of you newcomers to the Golden Image family, the Golden Mojo family, who don't watch me on other podcasts, and that might be friends of the Chief or just the random person that comes along that's a Chiefs fan that finds us, you'll find out that I have a very big ego and I love to be on camera and to hear myself talk. So
it's true.
I'm very good at it, of just listening to myself talk as I shut my microphone off like a fucking idiot. But okay, so I am a 4-time podcast host and I just shut my own damn microphone off. Go figure that one. Can't win them all. I can't win them all.
Noob.
Yeah.
Well, I think we had a great first episode. I hope that our viewers enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to getting into some more stuff. I'm always looking forward to talking about the Chiefs. And this week we're going to discuss the history of the Kansas City Chiefs
As we understand it. No.
As we understand it. That isn't actually a very important point that I wanted to bring up. We do research on this stuff. We do go to web pages and look at stats and stuff like that. We are not perfect.
No.
We will make mistakes. We will stutter on our words, and it's just the way it is. This is an opinionated podcast, but it's all about the love of the Chiefs.
Well, let's put it this way. Even we throw an interception every now and again. So, don't count us against us. We're going to rebound and come back. So,
hey, we got 13 seconds, 3 timeouts, and Patrick fucking Mahomes. We don't need anything else.
Well, how about a half pack of smokes and a 6-pack?
We got a full tank of gas, a half pack of smokes, and a 6-pack of beer. We're getting the band back together.
That's right. Like Lynn Dawson on the sidelines having a smoky treat.
That always was a little bizarre to me. I that they did that back then, but obviously you don't do it now. But I just thought it was kind of cool to see that was the time.
Yeah, I that flashed last night in my cranium when I was thinking about tattoos. I was like, should I do one with him smoking a cigarette, passing a football to Patrick Mahomes?
Now there would be something to put down.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
That's a big thing that's changed in that time period, though, is just smoking in general. You don't see it really anywhere anymore, let alone football. Like, it's just
Well,
nowhere. Well, yeah.
Me being a smoker, I got to walk all the way around the stadium to have a cigarette. So,
Yep.
unfortunately, 10, 15 years ago, you could still smoke in the bowl.
Yep.
But I understand the reasoning. So, whatever.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah. I'd always flash back to my favorite movie, The Replacements, when the kicker was out there
Yeah.
smoking on the field.
Yeah.
Wasn't he-
Ole, 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 ole. I love that movie.
Wasn't he also drinking on the field, or was
Oh,
I
he
just-
probably
I think he was drinking all the time. I think he
Yeah.
drank the whole movie.
Yeah, that is a classic movie to me. So,
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
Mm. Yeah, me too.
That your number one?
That was my number one.
That was his number one on
Yeah.
the call guys for favorite sports movies.
Top 5 sports movies.
Yep.
Yes.
my beer's incoming.
Uh-oh.
Flying the beer.
Flying the beer.
Oh crap!
Yeah.
She left it all the way by the door.
That has got to be the greatest thing ever. Now it's like you just sitting there like, do I get up to go get it, or do I just stare at it for the next 10 minutes?
Well, I got a half beer less, so we'll worry about it then.
Mid conversation. I've been there. I've done that. Mid conversation, Colton's talking. I get up and walk away and come back. He's still talking.
You just edit it later.
Nope, I just usually leave it in.
Just leave
just
it in
funny.
there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
But
let's get into this history of the Kansas City Chiefs. I think the most important thing to throw out there to start off with is you're in flash mode there. I don't know that our viewers can see that, but it's disco Chief right now.
How did that happen again?
I don't know. I think it just does that. That's too cool.
We're just gonna let it roll. Our viewers can see it on YouTube and they'll be laughing their asses off at you because your shirt is bright and
I have no idea what's going on here.
I need some Bee Gees right now, buddy. There we go.
Oh.
Oh, look at now you're really with it.
What the hell? Oh well, it is
yeah.
what it is.
It is what it is. I think it's the color. It's the color of the room. To be honest, it's making that camera go crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I switched it to full HD mode. That made it much brighter, so maybe I don't need this other light in front of me.
Yeah, shut it off.
Let's
Shut
try
it
that.
off. Yeah.
Yay!
figured it out.
All right.
He's got it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so guys, let's get into the history of the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think the most important thing that probably everybody knows is they weren't always the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
They were the Dallas Texans. And I did some research on this, and I'm sure you guys know this. They were the Dallas Texans back in 1960. So Lamar Hunt, moment of silence. The great Lamar Hunt actually had tried to get an NFL team in Texas. Now, I don't know when the Dallas Cowboys come into play. Do you have any idea on that?
Actually, I do. It's a matter if I kept my notes on it. Yeah, just keep going.
Okay. Well, he really wanted to bring a football team to Texas, and he actually applied with the professional American football, the National Football League, and was turned down in 1959. So he started to get some of his big oil buddies down there in Texas and basically formed the Dallas Texans and the AFL.
Yep.
I did read that he tried to attempt to get the Chicago Cardinals to move down there. Did you know that?
No. So interesting factoid. I did have that Dallas, Texas, or Dallas was 1960, along with when the Chiefs became the Texans. The same year, 1960, I think.
1960s when they became the Dallas Texans.
Yes, and that's also the year the NFL added the Dallas Cowboys.
Really?
Yep. According to my notes I took earlier.
Same
And
year.
the exact quote that I have is professional football returned to Dallas in 1960 as the American Football League commenced operations with one of its 8 charter members in Dallas, also called the Texans, while the NFL added the Dallas Cowboys, is the exact quote.
See, now that's funny to me because I read that the NFL turned him down because they didn't want to oversaturate with too many football teams. I wonder if that's because they had the Cowboys already slated to join down there.
Probably in, the AFL, NFL, fight, we'll say, or,
Right.
I think that they wanted to have the NFL there and not the AFL. So,
right.
Who knows? I'd have to do more research to dig into that.
Well, I remember reading an article. Lamar was actually coming back from the meeting that they turned him down, and he was on the airplane when he actually came up with the idea of starting the AFL. And it was just him sitting back there by himself, strumming up these ideas. And that's how he came up with.
He was writing it on a napkin or something. It wasn't even like he was literally just writing it on a napkin, like his ideas. I remember seeing that in a video I watched. It's a couple. Actually, it was probably around the time we won the Super Bowl.
Right on.
He was on the plane, and all he had was a napkin, and he came up with the idea, so he jotted it all down on a napkin.
Can you imagine what that napkin is worth?
It's probably been long gone.
Yeah, it's in the trash.
It's totally in the trash. So what do we got? 1960, 1961, and 1962. They were known as the Dallas Texans. In 1963, they moved to Kansas City. Now, you have a story about that, right, Phil?
Well, that's more with the name, but continue.
Well, the move to Kansas City was because
of the mayor of Kansas City asked Lamar to move the franchise up there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think to me it only makes sense at this time because, well, now for more, the Dallas Cowboys are there. Why do you need 2 teams in Dallas?
Probably, yeah, for sure.
Harold Bartle, I think was his name, was the mayor at the time, right?
Yes. And we'll get to it, but I guess we might as well hit it now.
Do it.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about the move right now because I don't know that there was anything really exciting going on down there, except that in 1962, the Dallas Texans won the AFL championship game.
Yeah.
Against who? Do you know?
I'm just going to go and guess the Raiders just because.
I was going to say the Packers. Were the Packers around at that time?
Oh, no, that's the same division. Crap. I don't know.
The championship game was the Dallas Texans at the Houston Oilers, December 23rd, 1962. Texans 20, Oilers 17.
Yeah, which again, the Oilers no longer exist.
I know. Now they turned it into Tennessee Titans. Is that correct?
I think so.
Yeah. So anyways, they get coached out of Dallas and to move up to Kansas City in 63 by the mayor of Kansas City.
Yeah. Harold Rowe Bartle.
Okay.
Was the mayor's name. And apparently, as I mentioned before, he was supposedly inducted to a local tribe, and he was known to wear a headdress, Indian headdress, oddly enough. And his nickname, while he was mayor, was Chief.
So he talked Lamar right into that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, basically, there was I don't know if it was a contest per se, but they had a, a contest of what to name the team. I'm not sure who was involved in this contest, but being that the mayor, poached him up to Kansas City, and his nickname, well, he was, I guess, mayor was chief. I guess they kept pushing for it in this contest, and ultimately, Lamar went with it.
Nice.
And I am thankful that he did, because it just flows. I mean, it just
Yeah.
rolls. I mean, it's it could be like the Kansas City Commanders or something.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what to think about that name.
That's a topic. That's a topic for a whole nother show.
I honestly think they were better as what were they going as, the Washington Football Club? Sounded better to me, but whatever.
Yeah. Side note is that apparently some of the fans up there are considered the Hogs, so maybe that would have been a better name than the Commanders. I don't know, the Washington Hogs. I did hear a good one today, a really good one today. A guy said that they should have called it. They should have just taken off Washington and just made it DC, since they are in Washington DC. Made it the DC Currents.
DC Currents.
Yeah, the DC Currents. Well, that was pretty good.
Huh.
If you're an electrician.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah,
Anywho, it's a very bad side note.
Yeah.
Come on, Chico, bag me up on this. Tell me how great that is.
It was so good. So proud of you on that one.
It wasn't me that came up with it, but I thought
Hey.
it was pretty good.
It was so good he forgot to laugh.
Yeah. He's that dumbfounded look on his face right now.
Just shaking my head. Just all your normal jokes.
Oh, I have some good jokes. So Kansas City, they're in Kansas City now in 1963. And what are we looking at? Like 4 years before they ended up in the Super Bowl, the very first Super Bowl? Because that was 1966.
Yeah.
1960. Yeah, I'm looking at my notes. Sorry, guys. 1966 when they played the first Super Bowl.
Who did they play?
Oh, you know who they played.
I know. I just want to.
They played the Green Bay Packers.
Yep. And hence the Lombardi Trophy for the Super Bowl, and hence the Lamar Hunt Trophy for the AFC Championship winner.
So that was actually the first year of they kind of got out of the AFL and they became the AFC. Is that right?
No, that was a little bit later when the NFL actually merged the two, which would have been what, 1970. That's when they started the AFC and NFC.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's just
I
off the
didn't
top of
look
my
that
head.
up.
I'm pretty sure that it was like 1970. It wasn't. It was 4 or 5 Super Bowls in, I think. I don't even think it was called the Super Bowl at that point, was it?
No.
It's like the championship game is all it was.
So when did it become the actual Super Bowl?
Oh, I'm not sure. We're talking Chiefs.
So.
Well, yeah, true.
So the Super Bowl term, as we know it today, was proposed by Lamar Hunt in 1966. His kids were playing with a Super Bowl toy.
Yeah.
And while he was sitting there thinking about it, he's like, well, we're going to have a super game. And then he's like, oh, we're going to have a super space bowl. And he pitched that in 1966 to the NFL commissioner. I think it's Pete Rozelle at the time.
Pete Rozelle was the commissioner in 66? Really?
Yeah.
Wow. He was commissioner for a long time then, wasn't he?
Yep. I guarantee you it was probably, obviously, he was young.
Yeah.
Unless it was his dad, but I'm pretty sure it's the same guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've always used that as a trivia question, by the way, about the NFL with other people. And very few people get it right, including Chiefs fans. They don't know how the Super Bowl became the name of the game became the Super Bowl. So all because he was watching his kids play with the Super Bowl. I mean, again, goes back to kind of the napkin thing, he was such an innovator.
Right.
And, a lot of things that he did way back then stuck. Again, Super Bowl was 2 words back then, and I don't know when they made it, officially 1 word, but
yeah,
kind of nifty.
It's crazy that's how that worked out.
Yeah.
But hey, all the great ideas come or spawn from something. So I mean, it goes to show you.
Yep.
It just takes one little deal. So in the Super Bowl, and then Super Bowl number 1, all-time Hall of Fame quarterback Lynn Dawson was the quarterback of that team.
Correct.
I mean, come on, Lynn Dawson. But I didn't realize. I thought that he was with Kansas City the whole time. Even when they were the Dallas Texans, I thought he was with them. He didn't actually come in until 1962. And I didn't know that he was drafted. Did you know do you know who Lynn Dawson was drafted by?
I do. Gosh, I remember the story, but I can't recall it right now.
He was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Damn it. I was going to say that. Son of a mother truck. I should have just said it.
You should have just went for it. You just got to go for it. Come on, man.
All right.
Come on, man. You just got to go for it.
Yeah.
He was also when it really didn't work out in Pittsburgh in 1957, he was traded to the Cleveland Browns. And
we're all good quarterbacks go to normally pass.
Yeah. And we're all good quarterbacks go to wait. But we're not even going there. We're moving on beyond that. We could talk about that debacle for hours and hours. In 1962, Lynn then signed with the AFL Chiefs. So I had known as the Dallas Texans at that time. And he was there for the actual change over. He was with them when they were still the Dallas Texans, and then moved over to when they moved over to Kansas City Chiefs. So he made that move also. But it's kind of crazy. I didn't realize that he was a Steeler and a Brown for a very short period of time. Thought that was pretty neat. But he was the quarterback for what? How many years?
Oh my gosh, 62, right? 62, right?
Yep. 60. No, wait. Yeah, 62. Yep. Correct.
I'm gonna say 76.
He was there for 76 years.
No. You goofball. 1976. I don't remember when he retired.
He was in the league for 19 years. So that would be 17 of those with Kansas City.
79. Oh, I might be right actually, or pretty damn close.
Okay, so here's a cool little fact. Lynn Dawson owned the Chiefs' single season passing touchdown record, which he set in 1964 with 30 touchdowns in only 14 games. And you know who beat that record?
Patrick Mahomes.
You know it. In 2018, when Patrick Mahomes broke that record in just 10 games.
Wow, I'm 2 for 2. I'm happy.
Was that Pat's second? That was his second season, correct?
It'd have to be, because his first season he spent, on the bench behind the great Alex Smith.
Yeah, he played the last game of the season against Denver and just tore him up.
Yeah, he did. I remember that. I remember it like it was yesterday. It's like, oh.
I remember watching him play catch on the sidelines with Alex Smith going, who's that guy?
Let's see, I remember when they traded up for him, and I was like, why are we trading up for another quarterback? We got Alex Smith. He's almost got us there. He's almost got us. Well, okay, I was wrong. Yeah, I love Alex Smith. I think he was a great quarterback, and even better that he came back like he did in Washington. I thought that was pretty amazing
Yeah,
what he did there.
And if no one saw the documentary about Alex Smith's injury and comeback, it's really a good documentary to watch. I highly suggest it.
I need to look it up. I was gonna watch it and I haven't had to. I keep forgetting to go see it. So sorry, my bad. I am a Chiefs fan. I swear to God.
But like you said, I applauded almost. I almost got up and applauded when he trotted on the field and played. I think he had to step in. Someone got injured.
Yep. Yeah, he was back, but he wasn't going to play. And then whoever got injured, so he had to step in. And I mean, what a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing.
As a Chiefs fan, as a Washington fan, as a fan of the whole NFL, that was amazing.
Yes. Yeah. Especially all the things that he went through to get there. You know, with them almost having to take the leg because of infection.
Yep.
It's pretty crazy. So Lenny Dawson was there until, what did we say?
1976.
1976. Taken over by Mike Livingston. Do you remember him?
No.
I'm gonna plow out some names here. How about Steve Fuller? You remember Steve Fuller?
Nope.
Really? Bill Kenny.
Yes, I remember the name.
All right. Kenny looked like he played for Kansas City for several years.
That's probably why I recall him, because like I said, my Donna memory, was around 8 years old, which would have been 1980, 79 or 80.
Fuller was 80, and then Kenny looked like 81. So, and then Kenny is no longer there. So our new starting quarterback is Steve DeBerg.
He was the one that wore the turtlenecks all the time. Am I right? I think he wore like a white turtleneck under his jersey, if I remember correctly.
Unfortunately for me, I wasn't watching in those years when DeBerg was there.
I'll have to go back and check. It was either him or the one after him that I always cracked up with his little turtleneck under his jersey.
Well, didn't Joe Montana wear the turtleneck?
He did
in the colder weather.
I think it looked more like a real turtleneck, not just like a
quarterback turtleneck. Yeah,
the one like Uncle Eddie. Where he's got the imprint of it right here.
Right. Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. So DeBerg was taken over by Dave Krieg.
Mm-hmm.
Krieg, is that correct? Did I say that properly?
I
remember him. And then Dave was gone to the great Joe Montana, who spent 2 years in Kansas City.
Yep, and I got to see the second season, the 94 season of him playing at Arrowhead. So
nice. Who took over for Montana?
Was it Gerback?
No.
Damn it! I was on.
But it was a San Francisco quarterback.
It wasn't Steve Young.
No, Steve Young. I don't know. Steve Young retired and.
No, I know. I said it wasn't Steve
right.
Young. Oh my gosh.
He's thinking awful hard, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, my two brain cells are battling each other.
Figuring it out.
All right, I give.
Steve Bono.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
Remember, he came over the second season that Montana was there and was his backup. And then when Joe retired, Steve was already in the system, so they let him take over. And I remember when Steve took over and we had that 13-3 season.
Oh, I remember. Let me guess the year this happened. 91 or hold on, 94. Yeah, 96.
No, 1995.
Damn it.
You were doing so well there for a while.
All right. Let me follow up with a question on that one.
Okay.
We had first round bye, home field advantage.
Yep.
As I recall.
Yep.
And we had Denver at home. that right?
I don't know. Let me see.
And I'll tell you the story if I'm right, because I'm 99% sure I'm right. We had first round bye, home field advantage. Denver came in as a heavy underdog.
In that 13-3 season?
Yeah.
This says we lost to the Colts.
Okay, I must be
10-7.
It must have, you know what, that must have been the Trent Green year that I'm thinking
The
about.
Denver year.
Yeah, because funny story was I was flying out to pick up my daughter in Washington State, and I had a layover in Denver the day before the game. I was going to wear my jersey and Chiefs gear, and I decided not to because it was Denver, and I just wanted to be incognito. And
yeah, you didn't want to be you didn't want to.
Yeah, I remember waking up early in Washington State at 9 to watch the game, and again, same thing. We were 13-3 or something like that, home field advantage, and we lost. I was like so upset.
What year did you think that was?
So if it wasn't 95, it had to be 97 then, 98, somewhere around there, because Ashley had to have been 4 or 5.
January 4th, 1998. We lost the divisional round to the Denver Broncos, 14-10.
Yeah, I was so upset.
It's interesting to me because that Steve Bono year, and I'll jump back just a little bit. I know we kind of headed up to the Denver game, but I remember they went 13-3. I remember that was the year that they had that trick play where Steve Bono kept the ball and ran like 95 yards for a touchdown in an wide open field. I mean, everybody bit on the handoff, and everybody piled on the running back, which I was assuming was Marcus Allen at the time, but it could have been a different running back that took the ball. But and then he took that bootleg off to the side, and boom, he was just gone. And I can still see him running down that field with nothing but green around him. So the next year, as the season progressed, and I remember this distinctly, Sports Illustrated put out their prediction issue, and it was a fold out, and on the cover was Brett Favre and Reggie White and whoever else was on the Packers team. And then you folded it out, and there was Bono and Allen and Neil Smith. And that was their prediction for the next year's Super Bowl, or for this upcoming Super Bowl. And I remember going and just buying 2 or 3 copies of that because it was just so cool. I was like, oh man, we're going to the Super Bowl. Sports Illustrated says we're going to the Super Bowl. And we went 9-7 that year.
Yeah, I was gonna say we crashing bombs. It was kind of like the Madden curse.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Which I do believe Patrick Mahomes broke, by the way.
Yes,
for all you
actually he did.
Chiefs fans out there, he broke that curse for sure. Then we get into some other. Then you get your boy Gerbach. I know he was your all-time favorite quarterback of all time.
The only thing I got to say about Gerbach was I was so happy when Baltimore got him after winning the Super Bowl, and then watching them go like 4-12 the next season with Gerbach. And the Chiefs fans, because we were going to the games, and I just remember going to that first game, and they're like, Gerbach has left the building, and we're like, yes,
yeah,
he is gone.
Elvis.
Sorry, Elvis has left the building.
Elvis has left the building.
Yeah.
Let's hit that out. That was 1997. Marty Schottenheimer is the head coach. Elvis Gerbach is the quarterback, and one of my favorite running backs at the time, and I don't know that he had much of a career, honestly, was Greg Hill. That was the year that Hill was. I mean, he was there for a couple of years, but that's the year that he kind of led the rushing. What did he have? Well, yeah, that didn't look like much. It's like 550 yards.
Yeah, but it led the
that ain't
NFL.
much. I do believe did Gerbach get hurt and Gannon took over for a season?
I don't recall the circumstances, to be honest. I was just happy when he left.
Well, they got Gannon listed for 98, but Gerbach back in 99 and 2000.
Yeah.
And of course, we traded off the great Rich Gannon to, the Raiders.
That was, I don't know what they were thinking.
That hurt.
No idea.
So bad.
Wasn't that the year that he went and won the Super Bowl?
Well, he didn't win,
Or
but they went.
Yeah,
they
went.
They were there. They didn't win. They lost, but that was that year.
I still don't understand that trade, but whatever.
I don't know. The great Marty Schottenheimer, though. When Gannon left, so did Schottenheimer. So, and we love Marty.
Yeah, may he rest in peace.
Yes, we love Marty. But do
Yep.
you know who took over for Marty that year? The next year? Can you remember? This is like trivia time with Phil. Sorry, Gunner.
Yeah, no, he's you guys are killing it.
Who took over Schottenheimer's head coach position?
What year was it?
1999.
Party like it's 1999.
Yeah, you got a party like it's 1999, big dog.
I think was that when we got the Rams coach?
No.
Okay, then I don't recall.
Gunther Cunningham.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about Gunther.
I did too until I was doing my research, and I'm like, oh man, I like that dude. He was actually a pretty good coach, even though we didn't really we had a 9-7 and a 7-9 season when he was there, but
yeah,
he was a hell of a defensive coach.
That's what I was gonna say. Wasn't he defensive coach? And
I believe he was defensive.
Hired for a head coach.
Yeah, I think he was defensive, wasn't he?
I think you're right.
Yeah. And then Dick Vermeil came in, and when Vermeil got there, they brought in Trent Green.
Hoorah.
And Priest Holmes.
Yep, both great coaches, great coach, great quarterback, and great running back.
I was very fortunate that do you remember Priest got hurt really bad and was out for like a season and a half or whatever? Yep. I was in Indianapolis for the Colts Chiefs game when Priest had come back and was only in for like 2 or 3 games, but that was the one, and he got hurt again in that game and then retired the next day.
Yep. I remember his rehab. I think he had a spinal injury, if I recall.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it wasn't good.
But yeah, he got injured, and I think he did the right thing for his own health.
Oh yeah.
Let's not do anything worse than what's already happened. So unfortunately, he had to retire. I mean, Priest Holmes was a beast.
Yeah,
I remember
he was a monster.
So I got 2 things about that era that come to mind. Was I remember our defense sucked during those years, and at a press conference, and they asked the coach. I don't know if it was the coach or the quarterback. I'm going to have to say Coach Dick Vermeil. What are you going to do about your defense? And I remember his answer. He said, score more points on offense. I mean, because we would score and score and score. And the problem is our defense will let the other team score. So it almost always came down to, who had the ball last. And I'll never forget that. While I was listening to the press conference, we had lost that game, and someone had asked them, basically, what are you going to do to shore up the defense? Your offense is so prolific, you can do anything at once and score more points.
Score more points.
Score more points.
All you need to do. Score more points.
And my second point, and I'll have to at some point get the pictures out there, but once I don't know, Facebook set up, but after Trent Green retired, I think he was 4 or 5 years into being retired, and my wife and I were at the game, walking down the tunnel, going to have our cigarette, as I mentioned earlier. Lo and behold, here comes Trent Green. He was doing, the broadcast stuff at I don't know which affiliate, or if he was just with the Chiefs at that time. He spent a good 10 minutes with us, and it's like nobody came around. You all have been to Arrowhead and been in, going down the spiral staircase.
Yeah. Yep.
Not a one person came, I swear, for 10 minutes. We talked to him, and I was jacking with my camera because it was acting up. Every picture was, so funny. Funny thing. So when we're talking to him, that's when we had Castle, which I know I'm getting ahead again there.
Right.
But that's when we were horrific. And as I'm trying to fix the camera and everything, and Trent Green smiling, being so patient.
Right.
And I said, man, don't you wish you were on the field right now instead of Castle? He didn't say anything. He just smiled. I'll never forget asking him that because I was so pissed off at that point. I don't know how far along in our 2-14 season or 4-12 season we were, whatever year it was when we met him. But man, anyone that meets Trent Green, the guy's awesome. He's a fan of football. He's a fan of the Chiefs. To spend 10 minutes with us or I'll just say somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes to talk to us and help us not get a blurry picture, which, by the way, my wife's picture turned out awesome. Right on. I turned around and gave the camera to my wife to get my picture with Trent Green, and it's blurry. So
you did that on purpose.
Yeah. After that, I went out and bought $1,000 camera, so it would never happen again.
And you have yet to meet somebody else with that camera on you.
Yes, I have.
Many people
have gotten the picture taken with that new camera. But anyway, I just wanted to let the fans know, anyone that meets Trent Green as a fan of football, as a fan of the Chiefs, as a fan of the Rams, the guy's awesome. He's patient, really nice to fans and NFL fans in general, in my opinion.
Well, let me tell you my Trent Green story. So, Trent was an IU grad.
Yeah.
He played at Indiana University. So my boss, who is also an Indiana University alum, was down there. This was, I can't remember if it was actually when he was still playing or whether it was sometime after that. But him and his buddies were hanging out after the game was over and went down on the field. And guess who trots out there but Trent Green? So he comes back. My boss comes back and starts telling me, he's like, oh, yeah, we were down there and Trent Green come out. We sat and talked to him for like half an hour. I was like, did you tell him you knew one of the biggest Chiefs fans ever? No. I'm like, what do you mean no? How do you meet Trent Green, the great quarterback from the Kansas City Chiefs, and you not tell him, hey, one of my employees is a huge Kansas City fan. We should call his ass and say, hey, I'm hanging out with Trent. No, I didn't get none of that.
So I
don't like that dude no more.
So I'm trying to think of our Hall of Fame guard or tackle that's in the Hall of Fame. Our Ring of Honor.
Are we back to Bobby Bell?
No. He played in like the 90s. Will Shields.
Okay.
So your AFC Championship flag for the year that we went to the Super Bowl, the white one.
Uh-huh.
I got multiple of them, and
right.
I gave one to my boss, where I work. He had ways to get tickets to the Super Bowl. Somehow he got ways to get into the parties. He calls me on the phone and says, guess who I just talked with? And I'm like, I had no idea. He's like, he's in your Ring of Honor. I still had no idea.
Right.
Then he tells me, I'm like, did you tell him I'm like the nuttiest Chiefs fan in the world? And because my boss knows me pretty well. And he's like, actually, I did tell him that. And he was really impressed, with the things I told him. I'm like, why didn't you call me and let me talk to him?
Yeah, come on. Just let me talk to him.
And I wish I forgot to ask why he didn't get my towel signed. But,
yeah, that would have been nice.
Anyway, kind of goes along with your story, about
it's a chance meeting, and then you're like, did you tell him about me? Like, no,
or even a phone, put him on the phone.
Let me talk to him. Yeah.
All right, so let's.
So okay, so Vermeil's there. You got Trent Green and Priest Holmes. Priest Holmes retires. We get Larry Johnson.
Yeah.
I actually like Larry Johnson as a running. There you go. Gunner's got it going on with the thing. I actually like Larry Johnson as a running back. I think they overused him.
Yeah, I mean he was good. Yeah, he was good. It was just didn't he have off field issues?
Yeah, well, when of those guys not having off field issues anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that's true. But he did rock it. I give him. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dick Vermeil retires or leaves Kansas City, and we pick up Herm Edwards. That would have been what, about 2006.
Damn it.
If you guys could see his face, if you're watching the YouTube, his face is like, oh, so close. But it looks like
he was short term, wasn't he? Like a 3-year coach at best.
Yes. And then we get
hold on. How many years was it?
3. You were right with 3.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go. He's back in the game, boys and girls. So who was the quarterback that took over when Herm Edwards was there?
Oh crap.
Gunner, Chico, do you have a guess?
What year are we talking?
2006.
2000 and huh?
Was it
Todd
2000?
Haley?
No, I'm talking about the quarterback.
Oh, I thought you said coach.
But you said 2006, right?
2006. Who was the quarterback?
I know who he got replaced by. I believe, which sucked.
Yes. Well, no, I mean there was actually a quarterback in between, I do believe.
Okay, then I'm lost. I cannot remember.
Damon Eward.
Exactly.
and Damon was replaced by Tyler Thigpen.
Oh man, I totally forgot about that.
I did too. And then Tyler was replaced by Matt Castle.
So that's the year where they came up with the Brady rule, or the year after, actually, when we got Castle. I think we played New England week 1 or
week 1, Kansas City, yeah. New England, and we broke his ass.
So I always thought about that, right? I was like, okay, the rest of the league thanked us, right? They probably sent flowers and everything. To,
oh, definitely sent chocolates in a heart-shaped box.
And then Castle took over under Brady.
Mm-hmm. And had a great season.
And had a great year.
Yep.
But what it wound up doing is everybody in the NFL, including the Chiefs, were like, we need Castle.
Yep.
We got Castle. Well, then we got Todd Haley.
Yeah, that was the next thing I was going to bring up, is what coach come in with Castle. Todd
Haley, and then after he got fired, it was Romeo Crennel, our defensive coordinator. So
I love Romeo Crennel as a defensive coordinator. I do not care much for him as a head coach.
100% agree. I could not disagree. I mean, I agree. But yeah, the Castle years were probably my 3rd or 4th year of having my own season tickets.
Oh yeah.
Talk about waste of money.
Couldn't even give them away.
Oh, so we would go down, until we were at a certain state where we were, just so bad, like 2-8, whatever, At that point, I just stopped going. I gave the tickets away to family and friends, and I remember sitting in the parking lot the second year. I think what was the first year, we had a bad record. It was either 2-14 or 4-12.
4-12.
And then the next year we were 2-14.
No, the next year we were 10-6.
Oh no, but there were 2 years. One year we were 2-14. The next year I think.
2-14 and 4-12. Yeah.
So that second year, about halfway through the season, the fans paid. We're in the tailgating, and every once in a while they'll have a plane flying over.
Right.
The fans were paid the airplane to fly over with wordings on the back that said bench Castle and fire Haley.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on, talk about a passionate fan base that's gonna pay and this plane would go round and round the stadium for an hour prior to kickoff. And it just didn't work out. Castle, I think, in New England, he had all the tools around him. He had all the right people.
Yeah.
All the right circumstances, and you bring him into Arrowhead that didn't have that. I do give him that. I don't think we had the right coach. I don't think we had the right offense. Compared to what New England was doing.
Right.
So I will say it wasn't necessarily Castle's fault, but
right. Well, as well as I do, you can't. It's not always one man.
No, it's
it takes a team. It takes a team to win or to lose.
It's a team sport, but I just saying that, man, I was so depressed those years.
Right.
But let's move on past the Castle and the.
Well, and with Castle, you also got with Castle and Haley, you also got Jamal Charles in those years too. Which I mean, Jamal was a great running back for Kansas City, and and it didn't even talk about. It kind of got set off to the side here. We didn't talk about like some of the wide receivers, or just let's just go with just receivers because we'll roll in tight ends with that too. Tony Gonzalez was there for the Vermeil years and even the Cunningham years, it looks like. So the great Tony Gonzalez. I remember when they drafted him and he played in the preseason, and I was like, Bobby, you got to come see this guy. You got to see this guy.
He's a beast.
He's a beast. And I felt the same way when I first saw Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this guy is the next Tony Gonzalez. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. So we got Charles and Gonzalez, and your favorite all-time wide receiver, Dwayne Bowe.
Oh my God!
Was it Dwayne? Was it Dwayne? Okay, wanted to make sure.
I have a nickname for him, but I'll reserve it offline. The one thing I didn't understand about Dwayne Bowe is why did we sign him back to a large contract? I about lost my ever-loving mind.
There was something about the hype with that guy. Everybody thought he was this great wide receiver, and I just kept scratching my head going, he drops more balls than he catches.
Yeah, he had potential. I don't think he lived up to it. And when they extended him with a high price extension, I was highly upset. I think a lot of people were in the Chiefs kingdom. I think he played 2 years under that 4-year contract, I think. And then
before we traded him off to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Right on.
And I think we took a lot of dead cap space on that as well, even with the trade, I think. And while he was in Cleveland, he was supposed to be the number one wideout, wound up dropping to number 3. Yeah, he fizzled.
Yep, for sure.
I mean, he had all the potential, but for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the system or just him. I just felt the one thing, like I said, I don't understand was the contract they gave him.
Well, let me run through the rest of these real quick because Castle left and we brought in Alex Smith from San Francisco.
Yep,
we had a lot of great season with him, with Charles and I can never pronounce that guy's first name. Chavarik West.
Chavaris.
And one of my personal favorite wide receivers, Jeremy Maclin. I loved when he was there.
Yeah.
Looks like we changed over when Cornell did not. What did Cornell have? A 2-14 season, and we let him go. We went and got the great Andy Reid, who has been our coach now all these years. What is it? 2012.
Oh my gosh, time flies. It doesn't seem like it.
So he's been there 9 years now, almost 10 years.
Yeah, because I know Philadelphia let him go. I know he had some.
Is that it's like hold on, time out. Was that your beer run? Was it? Did you text her to bring you a beer?
Possibly.
Oh. I don't have to text. I know when Karen finishes her beer, there'll be another one.
She just brings another one.
It's just automatic.
You need to set the table a little bit closer to you so you don't have to get up and go get it.
Yeah, fly it in.
You guys have some pretty great women there now. I don't see My door hasn't been opened yet.
Oh no, that's
But
too funny.
yeah, so obviously we had some great years with Alex Smith. I'm a big fan of Alex Smith, and and then the great Patrick Mahomes is spent a year behind him and has not looked back since. And I don't think we've had a stronger team in the last 30 years. I don't think. I mean, we've had some good teams, but
Yeah.
we've got a strong team right now. And next episode, we're going to talk about the 22 draft. And I'm super excited to get into that and just talk about the players that we drafted this year and, some of the stats and stuff that they've got from their college days. And I think it's going to be a good episode. We can talk about those guys and maybe some predictions on what they'll do in their first season in the NFL.
That'll be fun. You and I have talked offline, and also Gunner, how impressed we were with the draft this year.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be interesting. I'll be upfront and honest. I got to go back and look at some more of their stats, their games, stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Me too.
As homework. So I'm a little more knowledgeable, but I remember the same thing, when they drafted the cheetah,
Oh
like,
yeah.
I was like, I happened to be at BW3's before they drafted them that year. I think it was just some random game that was on, and this dude just took off, and I was like, oh snap. Come to find out, it was a cheetah. Because I didn't know the players, I don't watch a lot of college football, to be honest. But I went back and I was like, what game was I watching there? And it took me a while to find it. And I was like, okay, that is the same guy that we drafted. So interesting, because I was like, that guy's like the Flash.
Yeah. The dude is fast. There ain't no doubt about that. I've got a couple cheetah shirts around here somewhere.
So, it's going to be interesting. I know we went, got some defensive players, which we needed, which was good. I think, talking about our defense, we did, I think, a tad bit better than we did the year before, but, there's huge room for improvement.
Oh, definitely for sure.
Then who knows, we might be trading, depending on what happens with Orlando Brown,
Oh my God.
So, there might be room, when we get to the cuts, picks, pickups, I mean,
right.
Later on, if he doesn't sign, there might be something that happens there potentially.
You never know. So Chico, I do have a question for you. Do you have a moment of Chiefs history that kind of sticks in your brain that
I do.
We kind of talked over you tonight.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry.
I told you before we started this that I had very little notes, being so much younger and just being like, and you guys have spent a lot of time watching and learning and knowing all this stuff about the Chiefs, and I always call myself I'm not like a hardcore fan. I'm a fan that loves going to Kansas City, loves watching the Chiefs, loves learning about the Chiefs, but I don't go out of the way to learn the stats and all that stuff. I don't take the time to, sit back and really immerse myself into it. I'm
right.
kind of that bystander fan. But there is one thing in Chiefs history that still lives on to this day that we all do all the time, and that's the tomahawk chop, which was taken from actually Florida State University, because that is what they do. It's the Seminole chant, the Seminole war chant, and it's something that I don't know how we had adopted it from them, but it was about 1980 when we first started doing the tomahawk chop, and it has stuck. And every time I see Rob at work, that's all I do. I go by tomahawk chop. And really, anytime we see another Chiefs fan, that's what we do. And it's kind of our greeting as a fan base, really, I feel like. So I feel like that's one of those things that's stuck with me my entire time of being a Chiefs fan, but just a big part of Chiefs history, to be honest.
And unfortunately, a couple of years ago and even last year, they kept on. Some people were calling to end it.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't think that's ever going away. They can't stop the fans.
No.
No, there's
from
no way
doing
they're
it.
going to be able to regulate that inside the stadium.
No.
Well, and that's like them taking names away because of their connotations or whatever. And the mayor that we talked about earlier in the pod was not even Native American,
Correct.
and they called him chief because he
Correct.
wore the headdress and all that. And like, yeah, I mean, if you think about it, back in that time, calling us the Chiefs wasn't a big deal. It was just calling us the Chiefs. Now it's one of those things that's a toss up because of the way society is. So you get the Washington Commanders, and hopefully we never have to change, because I don't feel like chief is a negative connotation. A chief
Yeah.
is a important person in the Native American community. So
hmm
I think it's more important than it is negative. I never looked at it that way, but
Yeah, especially given that it wasn't necessarily named after a Native American person,
yeah,
Right.
that's I could
you
see
know,
that more so, I guess. But
but again, it was the nickname of the mayor at the time.
Yeah.
So I think this feud. I don't know when the Washington Commanders feud started with their old name. I'll just leave it off.
I said it in the call guys once, and Colton's like, "Can't say that."
No, that's why I said I'm not going to say it. And by the way, I am Native American. I am a registered member of the Iowa tribe. So, but yeah, when it comes to them, I think they started that battle like in the 80s, give or take. And it took all the way to what, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
2 or 3, yeah.
So I hope it doesn't come down to that with the Chiefs and the stadium, Arrowhead. Arrowhead, I don't think has any negative connotation at all.
Yeah.
It was a weapon, right?
Yeah.
People collect them. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I hope that, they don't put too much into that, Chiefs and Arrowhead, and, we get to stay with our identity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel for the Washington fans because it's like, they had that name for so long,
Yeah.
and now they're just like, oh, now we're something totally different. And even the Cleveland fans, even that one, I think that one actually hurts. We're jumping baseball, but I think that one actually hurts even more because they have been even established even longer, and
Yeah.
they were
Sorry, I don't follow baseball that much. What were they renamed to?
the Guardians. So now
That's
they're
right.
the Cleveland
That's right.
Guardians.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know where.
I don't know that the name hurts. I think the name is the name, but they were what they were for a very, very, very long time, and now they're not. So yeah, I feel for them out there in Cleveland and their baseball team, but yeah, tomahawk chop, Gunner. I mean, good Lord,
it's
yeah,
one of those things.
that is the best thing ever, to be there with 80,000 of your closest friends in the stadium, all doing the same thing. The other
Celebrity banging on the drum, or a player, retired player,
Yep.
whoever's there doing it. That is just a super enjoyable moment. And Phil, you've seen that probably 150 times.
Yeah, I've seen a lot. It's fun. It's exciting.
Every time.
So since we're talking about Arrowhead Stadium, and I know we kind of went through introductions, I don't know where we're at minute wise, but I'd like to give out my first memory of bringing my wife to the game, and I'd like each one of you to do the same thing. So my first game that I brought my wife to was obviously before we had season tickets. And it was a night game, I believe against San Diego. And we had tickets in the second row. Night game, lights are on. Karen's never been to an NFL game. She didn't know where our seats were. As our anniversary weekend, like September 13th, that's coming up for the home opener here. as they're walking down the stairs and getting closer and closer and closer to the field, I just remember her comment saying, "Wow, now this is HD." So, and I have a picture of her and I. We had someone take our picture, and I give her a happy anniversary kiss, and it's one of my favorite pictures we've ever taken. But I just wanted to share that, my wife's first game and her comments of "this is HD."
That's pretty good.
So,
So-
oh, go ahead, Phil. Sorry.
No, Chico, I was going to say, I was going to
Oh.
throw it to you.
So my first game was my wife's first game also. So that was exciting. And she took me for our anniversary.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
it-
I did
yeah.
not know that.
So she bought me tickets. No, I mean, she was not quite into the football, anything sports really at that point. We'd been dating for what, a year maybe? And she bought me tickets to go. We went out, we stayed at the hotel right across the street from the stadium. We walked in super early because I wanted to go so bad. So we're walking in and I'm sure I was just like bright eyed, like a baby, like a child walking in there. And we hung out for probably 45 minutes to an hour before the game, just sitting there watching the players practice. And this was Patrick Mahomes' rookie year, right? So I saw him on the field playing catch pretty much with Alex Smith and seeing all that happen. But the one thing that I really remember is, I gotta think. There's so much, dude. It's just crazy. We went up to the top of the bowl and we're looking at the field, and I get the big picture from up top and just seeing the whole field. And you got all these people around us, and there was a kid sitting next to us, which had to have been his first game too, and he was super excited to be there. And he's just like, I think we probably looked exactly the same sitting there right next to each other. But it's honestly one of my best memories of just me and Sarah, because she took me, and I mean, I never thought I would be going to Kansas City to watch a game, let alone with my girlfriend at the time, who would be my wife in the future. So just the fact that she did that for me was awesome. And yeah,
Right.
Dad.
I was like,
I know, I know, I know your first game. I know your first game.
Yeah. Well, let me give you an over brief history here. Is that we, we've been fans for 30 years. I actually took a trip out there, the year Montana's second year when San Francisco came to Arrowhead, and I was trying to get tickets, but I couldn't afford the scalp tickets at the time.
So 94.
Yes. So that was my first trip out. That was my first time to see Arrowhead, even though I didn't get into Arrowhead at all. And then we took another trip back when Gunner, so that it would have been 95, 96, somewhere in there. We woke up and we're like, they're playing Denver in Denver, and we were on vacation, and I said, hey, I want to watch this game. This is going to be a really great game. So we jumped in the car and drove to Kansas City because that's where the game was going to be on TV. And we stayed at the hotel across the street from the stadium. She got to see the stadium, in person for the first time. Once again, there's no game going on. We were just there hanging out, doing some shopping, because we talked about this before. You couldn't buy anything here in Indiana.
Right.
You drove 15 or 10 hours to go shopping. But my first game and Bobby's first game, Gunner and Sarah bought us the tickets, and we went. It was the four of us, and we had lower bowl. And I remember exactly what he's saying. I was like, let's go. Can we get in? And it was funny because when we got there, they were like, come on, let's go in. And I'm like, first things first, we need to walk around the stadium.
Yes.
Let's go take all this in. I want to take it all in. I want to see everything. And of course, you got to see the bands and the marching band and all the tailgaters and all that stuff out there. And then we went in and we went down to where our seats were at. And basically, Bobby's just as wide-eyed as I was, so she was just excited to be there. And I made him walk all the way to the top of the stadium because, once again, I want to see all this. So we went all the way to the top, and I think they thought it was nuts, but I made her walk on all the way up there. And just being down there in the lower bowl amongst all the fans, what a great time. What a great bunch of people. And it was an amazing first round or, first experience to be in Arrowhead.
We saw the Cardinals. That was
it was the Cardinals game. Yep.
Yeah, that's who we open up against this season, I believe.
Yep.
The regular season, oddly enough.
So I do have one more thing about the first game Sarah took me to. We played the Chargers, and I remember looking at Phillip Rivers and him throwing the ball, and I go, I wonder if his baseball coach ever told him not to throw the ball like that, because he throws it sidearm as far sidearm as he could. I was like, man, he's gonna throw his arm out.
Oh.
Just a follow up, not necessarily on people at a game, but we were at the game where San Diego, it was a night game. All they had to do was kneel down, I think 2 more times, and the game was over. The second down or third down, whatever it was, I mean, they were like on their own 3-yard line. They could have easily done a field goal, whatever, but instead they were kneeling down. Cry Me a River fumbles the ball. Because I remember looking at the wife, it's like, are you ready to go? We got, 42 seconds or, whatever it was left,
right.
And I was like, sucks we drove all this way to watch us lose, but, it happens.
Yeah.
And then as we're standing up, we're watching them kneel down, and then you hear this roar, the Arrowhead roar. Everyone's heard it that's been there. And I'm like, what the hell? And the guy next to me is like, hey, I think Rivers, Cry Me a River, he fumbled the ball. And here comes car company name, old car company guy, oh my gosh, the defensive guy, Sherman. Hold on.
That's an old car company guy?
No, not Sherman. I can't remember his name. Anyway, he comes out of the pile and just goes like this and holds the ball up.
The place went nuts, didn't it?
Oh, it was insane. And then I think it went to overtime, and we wound up winning the game in overtime. So the other interesting fact was right before the play started, we heard a firework go off in the parking lot, basically as the ball was being hiked. And they asked Phillip Rivers, is that what affected him? He's like, I didn't hear that. I just fumbled the ball. So
at least he was honest.
I think the guy's name was Sherman. I gotta go.
Well, we had a yeah, but I thought he was an offensive guy. I thought he was a fullback.
I'm gonna have to Google that. He was part of car company legacy. I'm gonna have to Google that for my own sake. Again, like we say, we just talk. We don't get everything right. But
That's right. That is 100% correct. We did not get everything right.
I mean, I know the play happened. I was there.
Who had the ball, Phil? Who had the ball?
Was it?
That's good.
Who was it?
You know what? That is going to bother me to know.
All right. Well, you do that. Why don't you grab your phone, take a quick peek, see if you can Google it. We are going to wrap this up with some plugs and some socials that Gunner's got right in front of him.
Yeah, I do. Everybody, thank you for listening to the Indiana Chiefs Fans Podcast. We really, really thank you for listening, and we hope that you're enjoying what we're talking about and enjoy what's coming up here in future episodes. We do now have a Facebook page that is facebook.com/INChiefsFansPod. You can go check that out. The Emperor over there will be posting each week, maybe with some pictures and just some information about what the episodes are about. So go check those out and then give us likes, comments, tell us how we're doing. You can also, if you want to tell us how we're doing and you don't have Facebook or you don't have any other social medias, you can send us an email, tell us how we're doing, let us know what you want to hear us talk about. Tell us about your first time at Arrowhead Stadium.
Oh, yeah. I would love to hear some stories from the first time at Arrowhead.
Yeah. So you can send that email to inchiefsfanspodcast goldeнимagepodcast@gmail.com.
Also, if you have a really cool moment in Chiefs history that we didn't touch on everything by
Yeah.
any means, but
Yeah.
if you have a great Chiefs history moment, email us. IN Chiefs fans podcast at gmail.com.
Yes.
You need a banner going or like
I know, right?
Yeah, I can edit that in there, Phil. I got you.
Yeah, like an infomercial.
Yes,
Hey, sorry, I didn't have to look it up as I was typing it. I remembered Studebaker.
Studebaker.
Oh, okay, right on.
Remember?
That would be, yep. Yes, I do. I remember.
I was like, I know it's a car company name.
Nice.
All right, sorry.
Also go check out the other podcast under the Golden Mojo Entertainment umbrella. The podcasts are the Golden Image Podcast, facebook.com/Golden Image Podcast, the Call Guys Podcast, facebook.com/the Call Guys Pod, the Murdnerds Podcast, facebook.com/Murdnerds, and finally the United States of Paranormal Podcast, facebook.com/United States of Paranormal. You can find all of those podcasts wherever you get your podcasts: Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, anywhere you get your podcasts.
Nice.
And Indiana Chiefs fans now is on Deezer. It's also on Google Podcast. It's also on, hold on, I'm going to see what I've got a list that came through on my email.
On Spotify.
It's on Spotify. Yep. It's also on iHeartRadio. It's on Podchaser. It's on Samsung Podcast, and it's on Player FM. So we're getting out there. We're hitting all the major podcast sites, and make sure that you go wherever you like to listen to podcasts. We're going to be on there.
Also, we are on YouTube, and I'm pointing at you. If you watch YouTube, I'm pointing at you right now. Watch us on YouTube. We'd love to get the views on YouTube. Comment, subscribe, click the bell. That way you know when the next episode's coming out.
Yep.
And all that good stuff.
And always remember, if you can, we would love for you to rate and review. Your ratings get us up in the charts, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get up in there so that we can continue to do this and give you great content.
Yeah. Expect some cool guests here in the future and some really cool episodes. And I'm ready for the season to start so we can talk about some football.
Football.
Yeah, Sarah, say it. Football. That's her thing.
The only sad part about that is that means camping season's coming to an end.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That is true. And also winter is coming, and that's always a heartbreaker for me. I am not a winter guy.
Hold on, what movie is that from? It was from an HBO series.
Winter's
coming.
Game of Thrones.
Yes, thank you. I watched that entire series, and I'm sure you'll cut this out, but they're coming out with they're coming out, I think, with the next installment of that, like the next generation.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Which I'm kind of excited about, to be honest. I was a big fan of that series.
Are they doing a prequel? Isn't it a prequel?
I think so.
Oh, is it the prequel?
I think it's the prequel.
I just remember seeing it flash up on as I was fast forwarding to watch my the robotic ones.
Do you want me to get Colton in here? We'll just do a Call Guys episode.
Yeah, there you go. Let's call him out. Let's just do a Call Guys while we're at it.
What do you got? I got to listen to some of those.
You do. You should go check them out.
Well,
Facebook.com/CallGuysPod.
Well, now that you guys have got me into this, I'm gonna go back and listen to some of this other stuff. So.
You're gonna be in the group chat here soon, so
yeah. Oh yeah, we need to get him in the group chat.
Yep.
Oh shit! Yeah, there you go.
Which ones have you done recently? Are you guys doing the other ones weekly as well, or ad hoc?
Call Guys is weekly. Golden Image is kind of bi-weekly, but we do vintage episodes in the middle. Murdnerds is weekly, and then Tusop is weekly, but it's Team Boozers, Team Tejas. They do
back and forth
alternating. So
okay. Wow.
So yeah.
You guys are busy.
We
We're
are very
busy.
busy. We are putting out a lot of content right now.
That's good.
Yep.
I'm gonna go
Yeah, you
spend-
can tell by the bags under my eyes if you're watching on YouTube that this week has really gotten the best of me. I'm happy to be here with you guys. You guys have definitely made my day a lot better because it's been a really busy, hectic, troublesome day. So,
Well,
gentlemen, for making my day a little bit better.
If it makes you feel better, I was in meetings from 8:30 to 3:45 nonstop.
Ugh, no.
Meaning lunchtime the entire day. And Karen came down, at 2.
I worked 2 12s and I worked a 13 today. So
Oh shit.
yeah, and I'm off to PA next week. So when this airs, I will be in Pennsylvania, and I will be in Pennsylvania for the next installment of the Indiana Chiefs.
Which
podcast.
city?
Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
What's that near?
Nothing. Country.
Yorktown, isn't it not too far from Yorktown?
No.
What's the largest city, basically?
It's almost dead center, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Right on.
It's like a little further
Gotcha.
east of dead center. It's right up.
Gotcha.
Yeah, right off 80. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna have any fun.
Oh, I'm gonna have a blast.
No, I mean like if you were in Philadelphia, you can go get a cheesesteak.
Oh, man.
At Jim's.
Williamsport is a really cool city.
No, I'm sure it is, but man, going to South Street.
Oh, I know.
Because I lived in South Swarthmore, for 2 years, which is about 40 minutes from Philly, and we used to go down there all the time as teenagers and cause chaos.
Yeah, this is about hour and 45 from Philly, so it's not too bad. But
oh, okay, that gives me context.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, enjoy.
Always.
All right.
Always.
All right. So Chico's going to be in PA next week, and we will still be recording. We are going to talk about the 2022 draft, Kansas City's draft, and I'm super excited to get into that with you guys. So until next week, from a little slice of Indiana Chiefs Kingdom, it is I, Golden J, saying, see you later.